you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering the Marvels. The Marvels has now bombed in every way possible. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. Coming from Forbes, like it or not, the Marvels has now bombed in every way possible. I could not resist that title. Had to make this video. From comicbookmovie.com, The Marvels in danger of ending its theatrical run as lowest grossing MCU movie of all time. From The College Fix, Gen Z wants action movies, not woke storylines, according to a UCLA study. And from Salon, maybe the Marvels perform poorly because the MCU and its fan base are getting old. Literally. They propose the issue isn't that huge audiences didn't show for the MCU's female superhero team-up. It's that Gen Z stayed home. In this article, they talk about how Gen Z wants action movies, not woke storylines. Pretty interesting. Let's get into the first story. From Forbes, like it or not, the Marvels has now bombed in every way possible. You can blame the strike erasing a press tour with its charismatic stars. You can blame YouTuber jerks dumping on the film for months ahead of its release. It's good to know at least YouTube does have an impact. You can blame the superhero fatigue that has also infected DC studios. But whatever the case, this has been the end result. The Marvels has the lowest MCU domestic opening ever at $46.1 million. The Marvels has the lowest MCU global opening ever, $110 million. The Marvels has the largest week 2 drop-off of any superhero movie ever at negative 78%. So the word of mouth on this is absolutely terrible. And while there might be one or two people that are going and seeing this movie twice, it doesn't look like there are very many people going and seeing this movie twice. That's a major problem when you need to hit big numbers. You must have people going and seeing the movie multiple times. When I was doing videos about the Joker, I remember there were people in the comments saying, I just saw this movie for the 10th time. I was like, the 10th time? But it's a cultural, social experience. So you go, you see the movie with a couple of friends, and then like you really love it. Everyone loves it. And then you're like, oh, you know what? Let me go see that with my brother. He wasn't around when I went to go see that movie. That's a big part of a blockbuster. If you can't pull that off, if you can't get people seeing the movie more than once in the theaters, you're not going to hit those massive numbers. The Marvels is the third lowest scored MCU movie in series history on Rotten Tomatoes at 62%. The Marvels got a rare B Cinemascore, tying it with Eternals and Quantumia, the lowest in MCU history. The Marvels is expected to end its theatrical run with $210 million to $240 million at the global box office under its $270, which really could be as high as $350 million budget. And that would be, the lowest total for an MCU movie ever. On the positive side, and it's very, very limited on the positive side, 83% of audience scores puts it in the mid-ish range of MCU movies, not at the bottom. So the people who went to see this, who were bought into the idea of the Marvels and wanted to see the Marvels, thought it was essentially an average Marvel movie if you liked this kind of concept. It's also the highest grossing theatrical release of all time by a black woman director, Nia DaCosta, though that says more about who Hollywood lets direct big blockbusters, unfortunately. And this actually has been a big subject. It's something that keeps coming up on Twitter. I did a video about this. From Refinery29, Nia DaCosta and the Marvels doesn't deserve the anti-woke backlash. Basically, you see article after article trying to save her career. And I don't want this person's career to be ruined, but she does need to work on projects that she's suited to. And just being a certain skin color doesn't qualify you to work on a $300 million movie. It just doesn't. You need to show prior experience and expertise. All she worked on before this was Candyman. It was a remake of the classic Candyman movie. It didn't lose money, but it didn't make major money. It was a $25 million budget movie. that ultimately did $77 million worldwide. But they don't keep all of that $77 million. It made a little bit of money, but it wasn't a movie that you would say, oh, wow, this person did $200 million on a $25 million budget domestically. Or you'd say, oh, wow, this person did like $500 million on some $25 million budget. But even if she did do that, it's still not enough to justify taking on such a gigantic $300 million plus production. If she had first managed a $100 million production and everything went smoothly, hey, maybe 150 after that. And she should know that. She should be being protected by her manager, by her agent. You don't take on things that are outside your scope, even if the studio is willing to give it to you, because then it fails. Kevin Feige spent months trying to fix this, and I blame Kevin Feige for this as well, of course, but he was piecing together a mess, and that's the fault of the director. Very controversial. A lot of people don't want to blame the director when she fails on a project. As for how the Marvels changes the MCU, that's not clear yet. We're just getting a single MCU movie next year, Deadpool 3, and MCU Disney Plus series are becoming more grounded, like the one-off street-level Echo, which should not have a Secret Invasion level budget. There have been very, very bad comments about what's going on with Echo. We'll see when it finally comes out. The same goes for the upcoming Daredevil series, and we'll see if they're crazy enough to release Ironheart. If they do Ironheart, they're going to be bought into this excessive diversity nonsense, representation instead of story for the foreseeable future. They really need to do an immediate 180 on that. At least they have Deadpool coming next year. If they do a good job with Deadpool, they have fun with Wolverine in there, it could be a decent movie. It's up to them to make it good. It has already been confirmed Brie Larson will return as Captain Marvel, likely for the 2026 plus Avengers films, though it's unclear if she's meant to be leading the team at that point as one of the few remaining veterans. There's no way Marvel lets go of Iman Vellani's Ms. Marvel because they do love Ms. Marvel, though they have got to give her better things to star in. I've heard good things about her performance in the Marvels. The problem is, doing a performance that's a good performance for a character that really no one cares about, it's just not enough. It's not going to be a successful franchise. You will likely see Brie Larson, Iman Vellani take their characters and just be supporting characters somewhere. To put hundreds of millions of dollars into characters that really no one cares about, when you do have characters that the audience does care about, it makes no business sense. And Disney is under incredible pressure to perform now. From the College Fix, Gen Z wants action movies, not woke storylines. Gen Z would rather see movies that show two men fighting each other rather than kissing one another, according to a new survey from the University of California, Los Angeles. The younger college-age generation ranks superhero movies and action films high in their interest list, along with hopeful, uplifting content with people beating the odds and people with lives like my own, according to the survey. Meanwhile, non-binary and LGBT identities is ranked at the bottom, according to the survey from UCLA's Center for Scholars and Storytellers. The survey of 1,500 people also found Gen Z is not interested in sexual content, which may explain their lack of interest in LGBT identity-focused programming. Responders reported that they use entertainment media to escape and take my mind off of things. Storylines about political content such as racial minorities, climate change, and immigration do not make the top 10 ranking. According to the study, 47.5% of adolescents said that sex isn't needed for the plot of most TV shows and movies. But we know that young people are suffering an epidemic of loneliness and they're seeking modeling in the art they consume, researcher Yalda Ulls stated in the news release. But while some storytellers use sex and romance as a shortcut to character connection, it's important for Hollywood to recognize that adolescents want stories that reflect the full spectrum of relationships. The UCLA researchers did not respond to 2 requests for comment sent in the past 2 weeks that asked about why respondents are not interested in LGBT content. The team told the College Fix on November 16th it would ask the media department to comment, but it did not provide answers. No one really wants to talk about that because it's going to start getting erased from content. There's just nothing they can do about it. They've pushed it as hard as they can, but no one is responding. The Fix also asked about why racial minorities may have wanted to see white people cast as the villain. Cultural critic and former English professor Mark Bauerlein said the survey results could be positive or negative. Quote, "I'm not sure how to interpret the findings," he told The Fix via email. "For instance, we have a preference for more non-erotic relationships in media, more friendships, and less sex. What does this mean, though? Is it a healthy recoil from the relentless and shallow sex stuff in the media? Or is it simply another expression of the trend against marriage and family formation, a desire to stay single?" Gen Z looks to social media for news. The survey also found Gen Z views streaming platforms and social media as most authentic. The survey asked respondents, which media space does the best job of making content that feels authentic to you? About 1/3 of respondents said social media, while 25% chose streaming platforms. Another 17.7% picked video games. Quote, "Our findings demonstrate the variety of qualities adolescents are looking for in storytelling, from more authentic storylines that reflect their lived experiences to a more diverse spectrum of relationships. Young people are letting it be known what it is that they want," the researchers wrote in the conclusion. As for where young people access these representations of themselves, Gen Z has a much wider array of media content to choose from than any generation before, thanks to the internet and social media. And though the ubiquity of social media can have its downsides, it also offers a cornucopia of vibrant but virtual spaces that can motivate young people to learn new skills, explore new connections, live a better life, or engage in activism for a specific cause. What they're finding, though, is Gen Z doesn't want to see gay romance. What they want to see is action movies, guys fighting with each other. Not hard to understand. Interestingly, with this Salon article, they're expressing that yes, according to statistics, Gen Z did not pick up on the Marvels. Does that mean Gen Z doesn't want to see superheroes fighting with each other? No. This survey shows easily that yes, if you have male superheroes fighting with each other, it's of interest to Gen Z as long as it's well done. It's not the same thing to just do a girl power movie, especially with a brand that's already known for male superheroes physically fighting with each other. You can't just swap them out, attack the audience, call them bigots, and think it's going to work. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Did you think that the Marvels was going to bomb literally in every category? Or did you think maybe some people would actually like the Marvels? Maybe they'd have some kind of results that would work out? Maybe in some foreign markets it would be picked up well? Or maybe domestically it would have done well, but not well internationally? It's literally doing terribly everywhere throughout the world and setting records for bombing. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.